Greetings, salutations, and welcome to Sportslook, the sports television program for the high plains of West Texas and eastern New Mexico. I'm your host, Doc Elder, and just like the 1979 song by Hot Chocolate, everyone's a winner on this episode. We've got Blake Huber, whose Greyhound ladies won the last 3 games of the regular season. We got Tim Frederick. He won the 200-meter dash at the Lone Star Conference Indoor Championships. I'll finish up with an overtime, but as always, I'll start out with an Eastern recap. Greyhound softball went on the road, played 3 games against Cameron University last weekend. Unfortunately, they lost all 3 of those contests. Greyhound track and field competed in Lone Star Conference Championships. As a result of that, they had 3 individuals that were named All Lone Star Conference: Tim Frederick, Israel Scarlett, and Tamia Smith. And Greyhound baseball, playing the number 5 team in the nation, West Texas A&M, took 2 out of 4 from the Buffs. Well, that has been your Eastern recap, so we'll clear the sets and we'll bring in Blake Huber right now. Welcome back to Sportslook, and a privilege to bring to the set of Sportslook the head coach of Greyhound women's basketball, Blake Huber. And Coach, you started out the season and you ended up the season exactly the same way with 3 straight wins.
Yeah, for sure. I guess I wish it was a 6-game season. We'd be 6-0, but yeah, I started 3-0, and then obviously had some bright moments in the stretch there with beating Angelo State, beating WT. And then obviously we, lost a few. I thought we kind of should have won with Oklahoma Christian and Cameron and those. But yeah, really good to send our seniors out on a high note and win 3 straight games and, beat Western twice, obviously an in-state rival. And then, played pretty well against Fort Smith. So you look at our scores, it's crazy. I mean, 11-17 is not where we wanted to be. But, I think 3 or 4 of the 17 losses were over double digits. I mean, we've lost so many 2 points, 4 points, 6 points. So it's tough in some regards, but at the end of the day, I think we're super excited, and kind of the message we've sent to all our returning players and recruits is, especially the recruits, is like, unfortunately this was kind of the rebuilding year for our team we had this year, and luckily for the recruits we're bringing in, they don't really have to go through the rebuilding year because we just had it. So, we're really looking to hit the ground running and have a really good postseason, and really looking forward to next year.
Well, let's take a look at the last 6 weeks of the season. I mean, if you just look at the last 6 weeks of the season, you lost 1 game to LCU by 20 points.
Yep.
Every other loss, close, and you won 6 games during that stretch. So
For sure.
What was the difference?
Yeah, I think the easy answer would probably be Shauna Hunter. Obviously not having her first semester, you like to think we'd beat St. Ed's and St. Mary's if we have her. All conference voting was this week, and I don't know if she'll get first team or second team or what, because she missed some games the first semester, but she's a first teamer in my mind. I mean, you can't name 10 better players in the league than her, in my opinion. So I would say the easy answer would kind of be Shauna. And then I'd say, honestly, I just think so many injuries we had in the preseason and throughout the year. I think the final 5 or 6 weeks, we finally actually started being able to practice a little bit with each other. And I think that, really getting cohesion with each other was a big factor. And then, I think thirdly, I think at the end of the day, seniors want to usually end their careers on a positive note. So once they see February, it's like, okay, like I'm counting down. I have like 7, 8 games left. So I think Alicia White stepped up and made, some big plays the last 5 or 6 games. Obviously Deja was huge. Honestly had one of the best games of her year, her last game at Western. So Ship made some timely shots. So I think a combination of an Ishana and cohesion, and just, seniors really start looking at that calendar like, holy moly, like this is almost over. So I think those combined with the fact that we just, Jazz is a freshman. So at the end of the day, most true freshmen shouldn't be playing 35 minutes a game. And we kind of threw her to the wolves, and I think she got better every game. And I think a lot of that stuff just leads to better basketball down the stretch. And, we're going to be in every game. I think our players follow scout pretty well. And, I think we're pretty scout disciplined. So I think for next year, it's just getting a little bit bigger, and just getting a few more playmakers out there. And you see that with our men's team. At the end of the day, they have so many guys that can hurt you. We had maybe 2 or 3 players that really could hurt us, and the rest kind of just filled gaps. So, I think we're just looking to build a little bit more depth next year and a little bit more size. But super proud of how our team finished up, and really looking forward to next season.
I think I know the answer to this question, but of all the wins that you did have out of all 11, what was the most satisfying?
Yeah, it's interesting, Doc, because at the end of the day, I think we play better teams. I think we play the good teams almost better than some of the subpar teams. So you kind of look at it. I mean, obviously WT at home is huge. Obviously that's a rival for us. Angelo at home was huge for us. Those are kind of the blue bloods of the league. It's weird because Adams State is a 5 seed this week. So, I mean, they're going to make the NCAA tournament probably. And UCCS is sitting at a 9 seed in the region. So it's like, kind of scratch your head and you're like, man, we played 2 NCAA tournament type teams close. And obviously, Angelo was in the regional rankings for a while. UTPB sitting at a 6 seed right now, and we lose at their place by 2. We're up 4 with 4 minutes to go. So it's, you know, it, at the end of the day, coulda, woulda, shoulda, I guess, to a certain degree, but also like, man, we're in year 1 and somewhat of a rebuild, and we're playing NCAA tournament teams close and or beating a few. So I guess I would say kind of, I guess WT and Angelo and Adams State are kind of in that mix of just those are all pretty good wins for us to kind of to build for the future.
To me, the most impressive win was against University of Arkansas Fort Smith because you had suffered literally a heartbreaking loss where you're up seven,
Yeah,
or you're up 2 points,
yeah,
7 seconds to go,
yeah,
a really good free throw shooter on the line to
yeah.
shoot two,
Right.
and you lose the game.
Yeah,
And it
yeah,
would have been
yeah,
easy for your girls
for
just to
sure.
not show up on Saturday, but they
Absolutely.
did.
Yeah, you really did. And honestly, that's all we talked about on Fridays. It would have been really easy for our team to throw in the towel. So that was kind of the message for 24 hours is, hey, like, basketball is a game of character. It doesn't matter what sport you play, they're life lessons. Life's gonna, punch you in the face at times. So how do you respond to adversity? Not only in the game of basketball, but in life. So that was kind of the message. And obviously, our players responded pretty well, and Fort Smith obviously had a lot to play for. They're right in the thick of things at the conference tournament, so it's not like they just laid down and had nothing to play for. They played hard, and that was a big win for us. And then obviously, propelling into Western New Mexico, and I think that not only kind of adversity, but we try to talk to Deja and Chip and Alex of, hey, like you guys ended on a 5-game losing streak last year, not trying to rub that in, just like we want to try to send you guys out on a little bit more positive note. So really proud of how they fought through that adversity. Could have easily ended on a 4-game winning streak, but it is what it is. We ended on a 3-game winning streak, and proud of the efforts of the last 3 games there.
And you were undefeated against D2 schools in the state of New Mexico, so bragging rights to Eastern.
There we go. 2-0, and obviously, I think Coach Bass does a good job there at Western, and really glad we could beat them twice. And
Got
yeah,
the overtime win against Highlands back at the
for
beginning
sure,
of
for
the
sure.
season.
So 3-0. So at the end of the day, I think we're gonna schedule a little bit more. I don't know if intelligently is the right word, but we will not be going to Colorado back-to-back weeks in November next year. We'll be playing a few more home games in the non-conference and hopefully build some confidence and fan support for our players in the non-con. And then obviously Fort Smith will leave the league. Sul Ross will join the league. So just excited for what the future holds next year.
We obviously have sung heroes. I mean, Aishana Hunter got a lot of accolades,
Yeah.
Deja Adrian, a lot of accolades. Who is the unsung hero for your team?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think it has to be Daisy Smith, to be honest with you. At the end of the day, I'll be honest. I've been very honest with Daisy from the start. I didn't recruit Daisy. Coach Megan recruited Daisy. Daisy basically was on walk-on money. I think early in the year, she kind of saw herself as a Rudy type. But she's a coach's kid. Her dad coaches at Roswell and does a really good job. And
I
she's
never
just
knew that.
yeah, she's just really coachable. I mean, at the end of the day, it's yes sir, no sir. Yeah, coach, I got you. I'll be in that spot because that's what you want. She makes open threes. She plays hard. really everything you could ask out of it for a coach. I mean, very low maintenance, and just follow scout, makes open shots. At the start of the year, obviously she's playing, I mean, maybe a minute or two, and by really the last 8 games, she played about 20 minutes a game. So, and played really well. So I think her confidence really blossomed throughout the year. I think early in the year, if she wasn't shooting the three, it was almost a hot potato, like get it out of my hands, where by the end of the year, first possession of the game against Lubbock Christian, she rips Grace Foster and, goes right around her and scores a layup. So I think her development was really big. And, I definitely think she was probably kind of the unsung hero of our group.
And in terms of team leadership, Deja Adrian is definitely a woman that everybody on the team looks up to. But Shauna Hunter, man, if you did something right, she was the first person to congratulate. Did something right, she was in your face.
For sure. There's no question. I mean, at the end of the day, I don't know what recruiting holds for us. Maybe we get some 23, 24-year-old grad transfer point guard that just has been through the rigors, but I can't imagine that the vocal leader will not be Aishana next year. At the end of the day, you look at her career at Labette Community College. She's won everywhere she's been. One of her best friends is now at Iowa Western. He coached her at Labette. He's one of my best friends. So, everything he told me about her pretty much rang true. It's what I say all the time with Aishana. At the end of the day, her skill set's going to get even better because she's going to be here most of the summer, and we're really going to train with her. But she doesn't, she's not just the most skilled kid. She's not the tallest kid, but at the end of the day, no one has more dog and heart than she does. And she just wills the ball in. I mean, she makes some ridiculously hard shots where, I look at my coaching staff and I'm like, I don't know if that was the best shot, but it went in. So, she just really wills the ball in. I mean, she averaged 15 and 8 on a torn meniscus. So really think she'll be even better next year. And there's no question. I mean, she's not going to end her last year next year at Eastern 11-17. I can promise you that. She's going to will our team to some special things next year.
Coach, next week is our spring break, which means we have to have midterm grades posted by Monday.
Yeah.
And so if you were to give a midterm grade to the Greyhound ladies and say, this was where you graded out the highest, what aspect of the game gets the highest grade?
Yeah, I would say honestly, you look how we were to start the year, Doc. We were very up and down, pressing, playing up and down for 40. And with all our injuries, we really transformed into a more of a half court style basketball team, a lot of more set oriented. So I would say just kind of resiliency and sort of just like being on the fly. Because usually teams don't really makeshift their DNA midway through the year. And that's what we did. I mean, we went from hey, let's play as many possessions as possible, press up and down, to, hey, we only play 7 or 8 players. So we're going to probably walk it up and call a set. And I think just kind of the flexibility of our group, and then I think at the end of the day, I think just kind of the tenacity. Like you said, there were a lot of times during the season where, we're up 6 with 2 minutes to go against Cameron at home and losing overtime. Well, then 2 days later, we beat Midwestern State. Oklahoma Christian, we talked about, 2 days later, we beat Fort Smith. I think there's so many close losses we could have thrown in the towel, but we didn't. So I would just say kind of the flexibility and just the tenacity of our program and ladies.
Well, Coach, congratulations on ending up the season with 3 straight wins, and let's hope we start out next season with 10 or 15 straight wins.
That's the goal, Doc. I appreciate it. Really appreciate the Greyhound Nation, and good luck to Coach Owen this week in Frisco, and hopefully in Canyon next week, and special group of guys there, and really appreciate the fan support this year of the Greyhound Nation, and look forward to next season.
All right, well, that is going to wrap up our first interview segment, so we'll clear the set and we'll bring in Tim Frederick from Greyhound Track and Field right now. Welcome back to Sportslook, and a privilege to bring to the set of Sportslook Tim Frederick from Greyhound Track and Field. And Tim, welcome to the show.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
Well, Tim, first question, where are you from originally, and what were the steps that got you to the track and field team here at Eastern?
Yeah, I am from Fesini Village, Library, Trinidad and Tobago. And my steps were I went to a junior college, New Mexico JC, and then I spent 2 years there, and then I went to came here. Coach Harden recruited me and came here to Eastern New Mexico University.
At what point in your life, Tim, did you recognize that you were faster than pretty much everybody else?
Um, when I was at age 7, I have ran at the zonal championships, and I won all my races, 60 meters, 100 meters, and I've realized that I really have the talent from there. And I haven't even trained, and I just won all the races. So I took it serious when I was at age 12 years. Yeah.
So obviously, you have to have speed. That's first and foremost for a
Yeah.
sprinter, but there has to be a certain amount of technique coming out of the blocks, how to stride properly, and how to not to overstride or understride. Who were the influences that helped you develop the style that you have?
Well, my role model is Dream Richards and Keston Bleman. And I watched their style through the years when I was running, growing up as a teenager, and I was like, yeah, I pick up their style, I was like, yeah, I want to run like that. So yeah.
And talk a little bit about the process of being recruited to go to New Mexico Military Institute. How did that all come about?
Pardon me, sir.
How did it come about that you were recruited by New Mexico Military Institute?
Oh.
Did the coach like see you run in the Caribbean? Or?
He saw me when I was at my junior college. He saw me run at track meets in Texas Tech, and he was like, he let me know that I'm going to recruit you. I'm going to recruit. He told my coach that he's going to recruit me, and I'm like, and my coach didn't tell me anything, but he waited till I finished my season, and then he messaged me and said, yes, Tim, I would love to recruit you to Eastern New Mexico, and I took the offer.
So how did you get to Roswell in the first place?
So yeah, I was at my junior college at Hubs, and they're like close to Portales, so it's not so far. So that's why I got to know about here. Yeah.
So you were in New Mexico Junior College. I
College.
thought you were at New Mexico Military.
Okay. So
Okay.
New Mexico Junior College I was at, NMJC. So that's how the process started too. Yeah.
And how did the coach at Hobbs become aware of you to recruit you?
Yeah, he saw my potential and he was like, yeah, I have run fast at age 16 and they saw my times. My times were really amazing, and I haven't run those times in many years due to injuries and stuff. And he was willing to still give me the chance to come to NMJC and try to do something great for the school. Yeah.
So had it not been for the injuries, probably many more schools would have been recruiting you.
Yes, definitely, definitely. I got a lot of setbacks along my teenage years, and I'm happy to be healthy once again and running fast once again.
So
Yeah.
were you the only person from the Caribbean on the squad at New Mexico Junior College, or were there other Caribbean runners that had been
Yeah,
recruited?
there are the Caribbean runners here. Coach recruited more Caribbean runners for this team. Last year wasn't many of us. It was a small team, and this year is a huge team now. And I haven't really had anyone to push me last year in training, and my stats was my weakest thing. So like now, the Caribbeans he recruited, they got a fast start, so they helped me to push in training now, and I see improvements slowly but surely. But I see improvements, and I'm grateful for the athletes he recruited for this ENMU track team this year.
Talk a little bit about your days in Hobbs. What types of meets were they? All junior college meets, or did you run against like four-year college people?
Yeah, some meets we run against four-year college, some meets, and then you go to the JUCO Nationals, and I haven't made it to the JUCO Nationals for indoor. That was really sad because, injuries again, um, and then after all those starts, and then not regular meets, sometimes you meet up Division Ones, and D2s, but and then you have Auto Nationals, and I made it to the Auto Nationals, but I only made it for the relay team, so I didn't really had like a great 2 years in the junior college. I had some injuries as well in the junior college, so like only when I came Eastern New Mexico is when I really stopped getting injuries, and I'm running really good now. Yeah.
So is it the same injury that kept reoccurring, or did you have different injuries?
Yeah, it was the same injury. I had a quad injury. It was the same injury. I got one or two different injuries, hamstrings, but it wasn't too serious. But it was more the quad injury was keep coming back. Yeah.
And I was a distance runner, and you don't strain a quadricep muscle when you're a distance runner, but when
Right.
you're a sprinter, that's
Yeah,
something you
yeah.
can.
When you're running faster, the speed, like it's easier to pull your muscle. Easier. Yeah.
So Coach Harden was the one who recruited you to come here,
Yes.
and talk a little bit about Coach Harden. What is your relationship with him?
Me and Coach, we built a really great relationship. I remember when I made it to national indoor last year, and it was just me and him alone, and we went out, we got food, we got different type of food. We built a good bond. Built a better bond from there. We get to know each other more. Um, yeah, and he's a great guy. He advises me well on what to do. He gave me proper advice, and I really appreciate him for that. Like, really do. Yeah.
Well, obviously, it was a promising season you had last year, but this year has been exceptional because we are talking to the Lone Star Conference champion. So, congratulations.
Thank you. Appreciate it, sir. Thank you so much. Yes, sir.
So, you can be now that it's in the rearview mirror. You can be honest with us. Did you expect going into the finals that you were going to win, or was it kind of like you had to put everything together?
To be honest, I worked really hard for this. Last year I came third at conference, so I said this time I want to get a goal. Um, Going into the conference meet, I was not 100% sure, to be honest, because um, I was ranking second in the 400, second in the 200, and like 8th or 9th in the 60 meters. And I was like, Coach Harden, I want to do the 60 and the 200. And he was like, Tim, I think you should do the 400 and the 200 because you're ranking second in both events. And you can even give more points for conference. I started to wonder. And then he gave me good advice, and I took the advice. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna do the 400 and 200. So when I made the finals for both. I know I made the finals for both. I was confident enough, but like for the 200, I didn't know. The 400 was first, and then the 200 finals were after. And I'm like, I don't know if my body will be strong enough to get the goal, because I know around the 400, I'm tired. Because like it's an hour apart, it's 1 hour apart. Well, no, it's like 50 minutes apart actually. So when I ran the 200 heats, I was the fastest qualifier. So I'm like, all right, Tim, you're gonna get a goal tomorrow. I told myself that I'm gonna get a goal tomorrow. I told my family, me and Coach saw the vision. We were like, I'm gonna get a goal. And so when I do get the goal, I wasn't surprised because after my 400, I felt good. I felt strong. Me and Coach, we trained for this. Me and Coach Harden, he trained me for this. He prepared me for this. So I'm like, all right, I feel strong after my 400 final. I'm like, I'm going to get a goal for that 200 final. And as I said, I wasn't surprised. I know I had it in me, and I worked hard for this, and I'm really, really thankful I got it. Yeah.
And now, not only that, but you've also qualified once again for indoor nationals.
Yes, I did qualify for Indoor Nationals once again. I'm really happy for that.
So where
Yeah.
will that meet take place?
It will take place in Pittsburgh, Kansas.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Tim, obviously you're not just a one-person show. You were not the only Greyhound to win a championship. Grizel Scarlet
Yes.
also won for the women, and just got to tip my hat because for years we had nobody in the sprints. I mean,
Yes.
we got our points in the distance.
That's
So,
true. Yeah.
talk a little bit about team goals. How good do you think that the team can be in the outdoor season?
The team could be great for the outdoor season because but Coach Bell was telling us that in the gym he preparing us for outdoor. He wasn't really preparing us for indoor. He kind of prepared us for indoor conference, but he said he'd be preparing more for outdoor. So I trust what he's saying. His program really helped. I got to give credits to Coach Bell as well. His program really helped me, and I saw it really benefit me. So I think the team will do much better for outdoor than indoor because we really didn't prepare much for indoor. And even Coach Harden said that too in our track workouts, like we weren't doing much speed work and certain things for indoor. So if the program now switch, we be doing the things now to prepare for outdoor. Yeah.
Well, I'll finish up my interview with you by quoting Bob Marley, and I'll say, "Get Ari," which is an instant. We'll let the viewers know that's an inside reggae music reference. So, Tim, congratulations on the success. Best of luck in the indoor championship.
Thank you, sir. I really appreciate it.
All right. Well, that is going to wrap up our interview segment of Sportslook. So we'll clear the set, and I'll finish up with an overtime right now. Earlier in tonight's episode, Blake Huber made mention of Brent Owen and the Greyhound men's basketball team. And before we leave the subject as we head into spring break, let's ponder for a moment what the Greyhound men accomplished this year. They set a record for most Lone Star Conference wins in a season. 9 times they scored 100 points in a game, and they put 125 on the board against Western New Mexico. That's the second most points scored in Eastern school history. So Brent and the Greyhound guys, we had a lot of fun watching you. We wish you the best of luck in the postseason. And I don't think we can better that type of performance, but let's hope we get close next year as well. Well, that will wrap up in overtime, and that'll wrap up an episode of Sportslook. I would like to thank my guests, Blake Huber and Tim Frederick. Once again, had a floor crew directed by Mr. Nick. So for all those aforementioned people, this is Doc Elder saying, so long.